When you start to question that narrative of school, maybe school is a problem, but now if anybody even gets to that point where they'll ask that question, remember, for me, I believe that's a brave thing to do, because if you are curious enough to ask that question and brave enough to go, well, then what is the next step? I think you've taken a huge leap that most people don't want to take, because, again, we grew up in this. So a lot of times we didn't even realize we should be looking for an alternative. We didn't even realize we should be looking for another option. Never mind start to go, what are those options? So I applaud anybody that even starts to take a look and go, okay, should I be looking for another option? And if so, what are those? And I say those because there's many. There's a number of options. Until you know that you have a choice, you can't make the choice. So now that you know that there's a choice, there's a number of things you can choose. So you can take a look at home educating. That scares people right off the bat, because what they automatically, again, words matter, but people automatically go, well, now I've got to bring school home. And I don't have the time, and I don't have the knowledge, which, again, I like to point out the irony. All of us went through this system that now left us feeling ill-equipped to teach our own children. So we're going to put our children back in the system that left us feeling ill-equipped to teach them in the first place, because we don't remember anything, which means for sure they're not going to remember any of it. And again, that speaks to how strong the pull of that system is. But that's not what we're talking about. And that's why we provide a home education option, to show people, again, this is how you can home educate. It's not bringing school home. This is what it looks like to educate yourself as a family unit, how all of you can get together and move the needle forward. So home educating is an option, and a lot of times it's an option that can be done even if both parents are working. We can make that happen. So home education is an option. It's an option to find a quote-unquote alternative school. And when you hear that, alternative school, when our generation was growing up, alternative school, what did that mean? It meant, well, this is like the last stop before juvenile hall. Like you're about to go to jail, and so your last chance is to go to the alternative school. It just meant it's school, but a little more prison-y with some worse kids. That's all it meant. But now when we understand what school is, the alternative to that is education. So there are institutions that are quote-unquote alternative schools, but they are actual institutions for education that we can start to explore. And they can go by a number of names. Many Montessori schools for your younger ages are actually really great institutions for real education. A lot of times Montessori schools will do a very good job. There's a network called Acton Academies. I've launched Acton Academies, ACTON. They do a great job at a lot of those locations at providing opportunities for education. What we're doing with Apogee Schools is we are building institutions for education, and we are intentionally including the entire family and connecting all of these families from a global perspective so that we can stay agile, so we can stay nimble, so we can have these conversations, so people can understand they're supported, so we can continue to move education forward. But taking a look at any and all of those options is fantastic. And we're glad to help you explore any of them, even if it's not us. We're glad to help people explore, because we want people to understand. As soon as they start exploring and finding those options, school, I promise, becomes less and less attractive. And eventually you get to the point where you go, oh my gosh, now I can't unsee it.